I felt from what you were saying earlier, the whole sports thing has missed a bit of a trick, because you were saying that having worked on the stadium in China, how you were starting from the inside and worked out, and that somehow we don't seem to be designing stadia that are creating the experience that you could get watching it on a telly at home. So what are we doing so wrong? In stadiums and sports venues are so big at the moment and so topical. What do you think they lack, and what's AV doing wrong that it should be getting right?
Stadiums have been evolving along with everything else. I don't think it's fair to say they're necessarily doing things wrong. What they have to do, though, is think of the future. And in the future, they've got to compete with an ever-improving audiovisual experience, which you get when you sit at home and you watch your new giant TV, which you just bought. You know, last year it was 50 inches or whatever. This year it's 65. Next year it's going to be, 80. Then it's going to be the whole wall, and so it's going to go on. And when you add in creative camera angles, the view from the jockey's head position, or eventually it'll be from every sportsman, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. When we're designing stadiums, we've got to say, what can we offer people that is going to be special? We need them there, but you need the atmosphere for the game. What do we give them that's going to encourage them to go there? So when we go to a stadium, it's got to be something extra exciting. What are the differences? Well, for me, it's all about sharing with all the other people around. And if you go to a major event and you get to know the people near you and so on, it's really rather delightful. You don't do that at home.
That's the key, isn't it, really? Because most of the experiences we experience, for all of a better word, are individual, aren't they? Have we reached that point with technology where we can use technology to create a multi-person experience at the same time?
Well, we probably can. And on the other hand, part of it is the non-audio-visual part. One's got to think of the two together, not just as one as the goal. At the moment, the focus is very much on how can we have a bigger screen or more screens or get more messages over to people and sell them more. Well, I personally don't want to go to something to be bombarded with adverts. I'd far rather go and watch the game, get those wonderful insights you get from having a camera that can pick out, the pimple on the end of the player's nose from 200 meters away or whatever it might be. That's why I want to go there. I want to be part of the crowd. I want to be part of, the noise, the roar that's going on all around me.
But you're encapsulating the passion yourself. I can see why it probably comes out in the design of what eventually appears. You mentioned the Cardiff Arms Park roar, didn't you, earlier on, about what does the client want and how complex does it need to be. But so those 4 or 5 lines you mentioned earlier seem to encapsulate it perfectly.
I think they hit the nail on the head. In Wales, the singing's so brilliant that you really want to hear it, and you wanted to hear it even better than it used to be in the previous Cardiff Arms Park. And anything they can do to make it better still will be a big plus.
But the simplicity of a brief, that actually it can be as high level as you like, if you encapsulate the feeling of what you want to convey, then actually, that will always be uppermost in your mind when you're actually involved with the design of it.
I thought it was a wonderful brief for that particular project, and they had picked the key aspects, and then they trusted us as designers to come up with the goods. And I like to think it succeeded, because there are lots of positive comments about the atmosphere in Cardiff. And of all the different venues that I've been involved in, it's certainly the one I would want to go to for the enjoyment of a great game, great atmosphere, and a wonderful location in the middle of a city.
Is that what clients should always do then? Keep the brief simple but impactful?
Look, it's horses for courses. There will always be some where the building is almost designed by the brief, and there will be others where it's more relaxed, and the client will then get a number of different options from the people who are competing for it. They're almost all competitions, they're selection processes. The beauty of leaving designers with a very free palette is that you're going to get more imagination. And one of the key features of a big stadium, or any stadium, is it's got to be something that people believe is theirs. The locals have got to feel that this is our stadium. It's something that we're proud of.
How can the industry serve architects better?
The industry, the AV industry, actually is something that I don't personally have complaints about. I think that it's been very good over the years. Starting with Cardiff, I've never personally been involved in a stadium without AV from the very beginning. And I think that's the way that one should design these buildings. It's such an integral part of the design. It can completely change, for instance, the form of a roof. If you're in an area where you can't have a lot of noise breakout, you design a roof with lots of weight in it so you can do something about the low frequencies. If, on the other hand, it's in an area where sound isn't a problem, maybe you open everything up. So it's one of those factors that we take into account, but that needs to be from the beginning. You can't start designing it and halfway through decide, hey, we're suddenly going to put a roof that weighs 10 times as much. You want to know about it right from the beginning and design accordingly. When you invite the AV people to become a member of the team, you need to know who they're going to be, I think, from very early on from the beginning. When is appropriate, it depends from project to project. It's a little bit like if you were designing a concert hall, when does the AV guy get involved? I suspect the acoustician might be involved before the architect a lot of the time.